UFC 322 is finally over, and it proved to be an epic fight card that the fans truly enjoyed it.
Ciao, теперь у нас тоже есть два чемпиона. У нас самая сильная страна, самая сильная республика, самые лучшие бойцы.
We were all wondering how Islam would look at 170, if the strength, if the power, if the grappling would translate. As the week went on, I think we all thought, okay, he's really comfortable looking at 170. He's looking really good without his shirt in those photos and in the training footage that we saw. And he said it afterwards, Chuck, in the post-fight interview to Joe Rogan. He's like, man, this is a dream. I feel so much better. And it's a scary thought. That's his first fight at 170. Just think how he's going to look after his second and his third. It's really remarkable what this guy is doing. I'm blown away by the performance because I really think the world of Jack Della, who had not, lost in the UFC and was on an incredible winning streak himself, to do that to him is nothing short of amazing.
See, now, I ain't gonna lie to you guys, I want to see Ilia Topuria versus Islam now. I want to see it even more now. Dude, Ilia versus Islam White House. Make it happen, Dana. Make it happen.
I like the over. I think the under-over is 2.5 rounds. I'm not sure what the lay is, what the money is as far as laying, but I can tell you if that's accurate, 2.5 rounds, I like the over. I'll tell you that.
Huh? Usman's there. Usman can be a problem. Can he? Yeah. We've seen how he done well against Chimaev as well.
Yeah.
That can be definitely. Yeah, you're probably right. Probably Andy doesn't take an unnecessary risk. So he's a smart. So I think Usman will be Islam's toughest challenge. Won't take any unnecessary risk. Can stick to a game plan. Who's going to give Islam problems? Get me at 170. Get me at 170.
We'll get you back on the Maccas.
Nah, look. Again, feel bad for JDM. Feel for him. Obviously, you don't get much better dudes than Jack. One of the nicest guys you'll ever meet.
I didn't plan on it, but my shuttle just got here and I saw him walk. I wanted to tell Habib and Islam both congratulations, man. What they're doing is incredible. Just won a belt, 15 pounds up. I mean, dominantly. It's just him and his team, the work they're doing and the way they're performing is incredible, man. I got to respect it,
I think when we think about the White House, it's almost like, oh, does it have to be America versus the world themed and stuff like that? For you, would you be happy putting a non-American main event on that card?
Yeah, it's not America versus the world. It's what's the best card we can build.
So could Islam end up on the White House?
We're talking about him possibly, GOAT talk here, depending on what he does in his next couple of fights. So it's a possibility. And I was saying to Habib, I've been in the fight business since I was 20 years old, and all I ever hear is, this guy's going to be a world champion, this guy's going to do this guy's going to do that. Everybody says the same thing, and almost nobody ever does or makes it. His father said, Habib will go in and dominate, and he'll have a run, and when he's done, and then Islam will come in behind him and do the same. And, holy shit. It played out exactly the way his father said, which is pretty amazing. I don't know what you asked me, but I hope I answered your question.
No, it's just
If you didn't watch the fight and you want to know just how dominant it was somewhat reminiscent of the Khamzat Chimaev Dricus du Plessis fight, which we saw back in August. The fight, each round starts standing. Shortly thereafter, there's a takedown, and Jack Della was just never able to get up. He was never able to do much on the ground. towards the end of the fight, he looked defeated, he looked distraught, he looked deflated. His calf was messed up. Not to suggest that Islam didn't hit him with some shots standing, but it just was one-way traffic throughout. He is just so strong, he is so good, he is so dominant, he is so talented, and now he becomes just the 11th fighter in UFC history to win a belt in 2 different weight classes. He is also the man who has just won his 16th fight in a row, and in doing so ties the great Anderson Silva for the longest winning streak in UFC history. So all kinds of history made tonight at Madison Square Garden. He is the pound for pound best in the world. There is no denying that, and is slowly but surely going down as one of the greatest ever, and in my opinion has put his mentor Khabib Nurmagomedov with this victory very much in the rearview mirror. He has surpassed him. If he had not done so already, Islam Makhachev is that guy, and now the welterweights, which we'll be talking about a lot on this here program, have a new problem to figure out, because this is going to be a very tricky puzzle.
I didn't think Islam was going to be able to, I didn't think Islam is small for 170. I've seen him in person. I've trained with him. He's a big fucking dude. And who would Islam fight next at 170? You know what? I think Islam is destined for, he should fight Ilia Topuria at the White House. If he beats Ilia Topuria, he retires. Islam has plenty of money, right? Go out on your shield like Khabib did. A lot of people in MMA don't want to see that, but in mixed martial arts, us athletes, we stay too long at the party. There's no reason for an athlete to continue to come to the head and all that stuff. If I was him, fight Ilia Topuria at the White House. You beat Ilia Topuria, walk away. I'm sure he made another one. That shit probably goes as far as fucking Russia, so there's no point for him to keep on fighting.
Topuria, I don't know if you saw his tweet. He said you're like the most boring fighter in the UFC or something like that. I know you said to ask you about him after the fight at Media Day. Can you give us your full thoughts on a fight with him now?
No injury, nothing. I don't feel any pains. I'm ready. Who is gonna be next? Let's do this, and I will make it easy.
Before the dust settled, fans immediately started revisiting everything the experts had said before the fight. Those warnings, predictions, and breakdowns that now carried a whole different weight, and looking back, the build-up told its own story. Volkanovski had praised Jack Della Maddalena's exceptional skill set, especially his trademark ability to stay calm under pressure, scramble out of danger, and recover position even in the tightest spots. He believed those tools would be Jack's greatest weapons against a fighter as complete as Islam Makhachev. But Volk hadn't been blind to the challenge. He had openly acknowledged Makhachev's danger, calling the matchup a true test for both men, the kind of fight that reveals what each fighter is really made of.
Green out of nowhere. There's times where like he will get taken down, and then all of a sudden he'll be like, oh, I want to get up now, and just get up. Literally, even with Gilbert Burns, elite grappler, he'll be on his back, and then he's like, all right, time to get up now. And then literally, as soon as he wants to get up, he makes something happen, makes space. He's going to need that this fight. He's going to need more of that. He's going to need to have that urgency the whole way through, because you know he can do it. If you can do it from the worst position, imagine that urgency the whole way through. I'm banking on him making it real hard for Islam to get him down. But again, Islam's grappling, wrestling, into grappling and control is elite. So he's got a real good understanding of mechanics, that awareness of where the body and weight is.
Volkanovski had even labeled JDM as a dangerous underdog, one capable of forcing Islam into moments where escape wasn't guaranteed. He believed Jack had everything needed to finish someone as disciplined as Makhachev, especially in the chaos-heavy exchanges where Jack thrived. At the same time, he understood exactly why Islam remained the betting favorite.
So long. Very interesting one. Obviously, I'm going the underdog, going Jack Della Maddalena. Can he get a finish? Of course he can. Of course he can. I think Islam's good enough to survive though when he's gets hurt, grabs something. But Jack does such a great job of, if you're just hanging onto a leg just to stop that, Jack's not the type of guy to just try and win position. He will just turn his hip, grab your hip, turn enough while you're grabbing, just smash. Can you get a reverse from there? Yeah, you can. But can he get the finish? Because he's such a solid and powerful dude. He can as well. So that's interesting. So Decision wins looking pretty good here, but a finish is definitely there. Paying $3.16, you're better off just going for the win. All right, there you have it. That's the main event.
Adesanya's take had added a different kind of pressure to the build-up. He had warned that even though Islam was one of the most complete fighters in the game, this matchup could drag him into a striking battle. The very place Jack was born to dominate, Izzy, had pointed out that if the fight stayed standing for too long, Maddalena's explosive, knockout-driven style could shift the rhythm entirely. In his prediction, the danger wasn't just real, it was inevitable.
I think Jack in this fight with Islam, he's gonna have to just overwhelm him with punishment on the feet, and then when he shoots, because he has to shoot, Islam's not gonna want to stand with Jack. He's gonna stand with him, but he's gonna realize I need to shoot because this is where I'm supposed to win, or I'm better at supposedly. I'm not trying to count Islam out, but I just know Jack. I know when Jack keeps getting up, it's gonna be a problem, and Islam's gonna be forced to strike. And when he's forced to strike with Jack, he's gonna get hurt. That's where I'm at in this fight. And Islam, I think, is the best of the Dagestanis, one of the best fighters in history, one of the most efficient. I do think, Islam, I'm not disrespecting, I think Islam will be able to get him down. Well, for how long? Yeah, in this fight, not just because it's Anzac United, I really think that Jack Della Maddalena has the skills to stifle Islam's game and be able to just put it on the feet and knock him out. Might be second round.
Joaquin Buckley had been one of the loudest voices and one of the most confident. He didn't think the fight would reach the judges at all. Buckley believed that once the cage door closed, the grappling would take over. He had called Islam's ground game the ultimate equalizer, insisting that no matter how sharp JDM's striking looked, it would mean nothing once Islam dragged him to the mat.
I'm telling y'all this right now. Islam finna slow up the whole division, but I'm happy that he's moving up and he's taking on a new challenge within JDM. JDM has massive knockout power, has excellent boxing, has excellent striking, but that ain't gonna mean nothing when you're on your back, all right? So Islam, immediately when they fight, he's gonna push him up against the cage, he's gonna take him down to the canvas, and he's gonna hold him there as long as he can, but y'all already know.
He had warned that Islam's submission arsenal, from the Darce to the Anaconda to the head and arm choke, would be too much for Jack to survive. Buckley even predicted a third-round stoppage, either by submission or ground and pound.
Islam, he's not just gonna hold you there and just wait for the decision. He's a finisher. You already know, man, with his amount of weapons that he has, he got the Darce, he got the Anaconda, he got the head and arm chokes, so he coming for that neck, all right? So JDM, if he's unable to keep the fight from going to the ground, he's finished, he's done. So I got Islam beat JDM in the third round, either via TKO or submission.
On the flip side, Max Holloway had leaned toward Jack Della Maddalena. Holloway had argued that Jack's size advantage and welterweight experience would play a massive role. He believed both men would have their moments early, but as the pace intensified, he expected Islam Makhachev to fade, something fans rarely even hear suggested.
Call me crazy, but I'm running with Jack on this one. I think the very first 2 rounds is going to be super competitive, and we're gonna see how the fight is going to play out. I think Jack's takedown defense, his anti-wrestling is going to be huge. He's going to show huge here. I think he's going to defend a bunch of takedowns. I think he's going to get Islam tired. I think the size is going to put that he's going to put on Islam is going to be a little bit too much. And then again, look, I know Islam probably trains with big dudes. Khabib was always a big dude, so he might be used to the weight. But a lot of people keep saying that Islam doesn't get tired, but in fights you can see it. He just wasn't as tired as the other guy next to him was. But at the end of the day,
Max had predicted that if the pressure continued to build, Jack would eventually overwhelm Islam and close the show, even hinting at a possible third-round finish. He respected Islam deeply, calling him a beast, but still believed JDM had the tools to drain him.
Tired. In my mind, I see this way playing out. Jack getting him tired, getting his hand raised. Maybe, I think a third round TKO leaning towards Jack, only because man, Jack can just ping you. I don't know, his accuracy is unreal. He just keeps pinging you. He keeps hitting you and hitting you and hitting you. So at the end of the day, it's hard to go against him. Bigger dude too. I'm really excited for this fight, man. I can't wait to see. Not sleeping on Islam. Islam an animal. He's a beast. But I'm just super excited to watch this fight, man. To be honest, I think so. The anti-wrestling is gonna be huge in there. I think so. Jack's pressure is gonna be big on him, and I think
DDP had offered one of the harshest warnings going into the fight. He had deep respect for Jack, praising his performance over Belal Muhammad, but he made it clear Islam Makhachev was a powerhouse.
He's always entertaining. He goes through these wars, and his style, he just has this nonchalant, let's do this. He's very calm, very relaxed. He can go the distance. We've seen that. How good he did against Belal was incredible. I mean, Belal is really good wrestling, especially when he's enforcing his plan. And Jack Della didn't care. He has that anti-wrestling working with Craig Jones, and it's been so effective. But that being said, if you look at his opponents versus Makhachev's opponents, Makhachev has beaten the who's who. He is where he is, and he was pound for pound for very long. Pound for pound king for a very good reason.
In DDP's view, Islam was ready for the welterweight jump and more than capable of controlling and dominating JDM. He had predicted that Maddalena was stepping into trouble and that a win for him simply wasn't realistic against a version of Islam who, according to Drikas, was at the peak of his powers.
People think Jack Della is going to be bigger. I don't think so. I've now lately seen, and that's why they did such a long camp, to pick up that weight correctly. And he looks big, and he looks thick, and he looks strong. I mean, no doubt, he's a hard worker. With this one, I think, with Jack Della, I love his style, I love him, I like his personality. I would love for him to win that belt, but unfortunately, I cannot go against Makhachev in this one. I think he is just so good. I think he's so good, and I don't think he's gonna give up anything going up a weight. I think he's going to be great at that weight, to be honest.
Make history.
Absolutely.
Usman had taken a more measured approach. He admitted both men had dangerous tools, but he focused on one key point, JDM's vulnerability in wrestling exchanges. While he applauded Maddalena's dominance over Belal, he believed Islam could exploit that weakness repeatedly.
It's a tough one. Who do I think wins? I think both guys present a lot of things that could give each other problems. Now, we got to remember that they're both going in against each other, both southpaws. Jack now has shown a tendency to be able to switch effortlessly and make it look very fluid to where you don't see it. And so that's something that he potentially could have in his back pocket. But they both fight very well in the southpaw position. Now, like we mentioned, he's bigger. He's going to hit a little bit harder because he's used to carrying that just extra weight on him when he throws his punches. But where he has shown a little bit of a weakness is being taken down in the wrestling aspect and kind of controlled.
Kamaru hadn't made an official prediction, but he leaned toward Makhachev, partly because he was already planning ahead, seeing the winner as a potential target for his own next fight.
And so that's what's going to make this ultra intriguing here. But I can't call it. It's a very, very tough one. I can't call it. I just want to see a great fight. Hopefully both men go home safe and back to their family. But personally, who would I want to win? I just think, like, I'm in a position now to where I want the biggest, most challenging fight out there before, because I understand that I don't have another 20 fights left in the company. So if you can get, and anything can happen. So if you can get that next one, and that next one can be that fight.
Belal Muhammad had the rare perspective of training with Islam and fighting Jack, and his view had been crystal clear. If Islam took the fight to the ground, Jack was in trouble. Belal had praised Makhachev's top control, calling it next level, and explained that once Islam locked down a dominant position, the escape routes vanished. At the same time, he acknowledged how sharp and polished Jack's striking was, admitting that Maddalena wouldn't go down without a fight.
Islam versus Jack, for me, breaking down this fight stylistically, obviously trained with Islam, fought Jack. It's going to come down to if it hits the ground. If it hits the ground for Islam, I think his top game is going to be really good. He's very smart, very controlled, doesn't let you off the hook when you make a mistake. Jack makes mistakes on the ground. He uses it to scramble. He has good scrambling ability. He has moments where he's like lapses safety, right? He'll give up his back, he'll give up his neck, he'll give up an arm triangle. And you can't do that with Islam. Islam's gonna see that and he's gonna exploit it. I think if Islam comes out wrestling right away and forcing that takedown right away, making that work, it's going to be a long night for Jack.
But he had pointed to a crucial detail. Jack sometimes left small openings on the ground, and those were exactly the kind of mistakes Islam punished instantly. Belal had warned that JDM could not afford to get backed against the cage. That was where Makhachev thrived, and once the takedown landed, things would get ugly.
Obviously, for myself, seeing him, being in there with him, he's very smart. He's good on the feet. He has good hands. He doesn't give up on himself. He always pushes through. So Jack's not going to be like a quitter, but he has to take the center. He has to be in the middle. He has to force the action and try not to get his back to the fence, because we've seen in the Poirier fight, Islam really wants to get you to the fence. Poirier did a good job of keeping the center, and he defended a couple takedowns. But honestly, I just think that Islam's takedown offense is going to be more than Jack's takedown defense, and then when it goes to the ground, it's going to be a bad night. But if Jack can avoid some of those spots, there'll be moments for him if he can make it to the fourth.
What a night! The fight we've all been waiting for is finally over, and the MMA world has spoken. But now it's your turn. Who do you think truly came out on top? Was the prediction spot on, or did we see a shocker? Drop your thoughts and predictions in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date with all the latest from Boxism. We're just getting started. Catch you in the next one.